Good afternoon, guys, or good evening. It's 5:18 p.m. Today is September 1st, first day of the month. So focus on shorts, right? So yesterday's closing remark, right? So ES finally reached 39.50 in ES, right? First short-term bias line in sand, and the next one is 38.50, right? If it goes below 39.50 and hold, then sellers are active below and hold. If it goes below 35.50 and hold, then 38.50 is the target. Okay, sellers are active below hunting levels in general. So that was the closing remark yesterday, right? And then today, right? So 39.20 is also important, right, as per Discord, and I usually like that number, right? So focus on shorts more and less on longs, right? Problem is the overnight price activity nowadays, because most of the move happens in the overnight. So in RTH we are left with what? Choppiness, back and forth, that kind of move. So, and that is how the life is going to be going into September month, basically, So this entire month could be like this one, It always happens, So far I have been observing this damn thing from past couple of years now, So September is always like tough to read, So not like intraday is a problem, Overall we know what's going on, but then longer term charts, no issue. It's only intraday trading is the problem. But anyway, notes are there in the chart. We will now focus more on levels like preferred levels, backup bias, dream numbers, hunting levels, yesterday's low, close, etc., right? And we will prefer shorts first, right? And we will try to avoid longs. And I want sellers to basically hold below preferred sellers area today. That is the whole idea. And now I'm writing less because everything is about the levels now, because price already reached now the floor, the short-term floors, or final floor. So so anything can happen now, but we'll see, right? So these are the dream number 143 and 179, right? So dream numbers are always powerful, as I always say, right? So of the open, right? So someone can even take a short at 179, right? And then target 143, right? I think couple of members are already doing that, what you can do round trip back, right? So you just need to figure out the process around dream numbers, but those are the only numbers you need for trading really, in NQ, but you need to figure out the process, So but anyway, but basically dream numbers held today in the morning, right, both of them, and then price went down, right? So but yes, NQ being NQ, and there was a 10 o'clock news also here, right? So I stopped my trading right at 10 o'clock, right before 10 o'clock or around 10 o'clock, when the PMI news released. I was not aware of it actually, that there was the news, because I don't check news, So somebody notified that, hey, there is a PMI news, because I was holding my longs actually, So I waited, something was fishy going on in the morning, So when one way price was exhausted, open to the downside, right? Internals were liquidation kind, and price was chopping around, right? See, ideally it should have just tanked, by looking at this. So two things can happen: either it's exhausted and then it will go higher all the way up to gap fill, right, and then go down, or it will just go down and down, right? So but since it was already gap down, right, and it was opening around my favorite area, right, so I didn't want to short. That's why I didn't take a short here, neither short, Then price bounced from this dream number. Not only it bounced, but it took out this VWAP also, right? And it took out this 179. See, when it took out this VWAP, right, it basically pulled back to this 161 level, and then it bounced, and then it closed at 179, right? So I took the long actually here, right at 179, because now whoever sold it here, they got trapped, because ES was, look at this low, right? So I was talking when it was trying to break below this low, and I said, two things can happen: either it's gonna tank or fail here, right? But if it fails, it has to go above 32, 34 area, right? So 36 and 33, that's the two areas I gave in Discord before open, and said, hey, watch out those areas, in ES. And this is the area, this circle, this square rectangle area. And ES was hesitating to go above it, So, but NQ already went higher, right, above. So I took the long in NQ, and I did not even short in ES because NQ was going higher, right? So I wanted to short here, but I can't because it's a ceiling, and NQ was already took off. So I took the long in NQ, and then I also took a long here also, right here, because ES was keep coming back to this area. So I thought it will break out, now I was already aware that, as I already said in Discord, that internals are liquidation kind, momentum is holding below zero line, completely lower, right? But I was playing exhaustion idea, to the downside. Exhaustion idea, the downside, that means price will bounce back up, or the risk is, since it is already down, it can follow the internals and it can go down also, so that's the risk I was willing to take, right? But I had an intraday plus point, which was this, bounce from both the dream numbers, holding this 160 bounce, all these things. So I was targeting this area, this blue line, preferred sellers area. That was all my goal was, But then, damn thing, see here it was supposed to go here, but then it was bounced from this level. It got rejected from this level, So that was a pre-market short, by the way. But anyway, so I took this long, targeting this area, and then, but ES was the only bottleneck for me, and ES damn thing, again got rejection from there, right? So now I was relying on this 20, that okay, fine, let it get rejection, let's see if it holds 20, then I'm good, NQ may go down a little bit, from here against my entry, but eventually it will catch up, right? Because it was morning because of this thing. So I held it, then it went against me, So see here I cut the 179 one, sorry, I took some profit here, for this trade, but then I still had a few contracts open, and then I added even more here, right? But anyway, so then it went down, right? So I was relying on this 20 in ES at that time, and it actually held this 20 again, right? So I was okay. Then price again bounced back up, right? So I was happy that fine, it will work now. And then again it came down, and then again it came back up, and that's where the PMI news got released, right? So I didn't like this price action anyway at that time, because ideally it should not have come down, and ES should have gone higher, at that point. But since ES, this area was good, so it held it, and then during the PMI, while ES was little bit tanking here, while NQ was doing like back and forth, like here in the same candle, that's where I built out, so I had a loss here, like few points, overall net I was in a losing situation here, after a while actually I had a loss here. But anyway, I decided not to trade anymore at this point, because PMI released, price did back and forth, right? But then AD was, was not going down specifically per se, and it was like holding it, right? And then this thing was going down, this thing was holding it, something was fishy going on. So I couldn't trust these sellers today. So anyway, so I said, what, price is not going down, and since ES is hovering around this 20, and I usually don't go against 20, so that's why I said, what, just let it go. So I went outside to work on my deck or under deck to build my patio. So I went there, and then when I came back, so I came back at 220 or so, 215, which is way late, So I did not watch this price action, okay? So now whatever I'm going to say to you now, it's like after the fact, knowing all this thing, okay? So just wanted to let you know. So now let's say if I was trading, right? Then at this time, I knew price is screwed up, right? Then that's why I left actually, right? But then due to PMI or whatever the reason is, price came down and took out this 143, right? See, at that time sellers were confirming that, hey, they want to go further down, How far? I don't know. Maybe this max target area from yesterday, right? That could be the good target if you want to short, right? That's the good target. Yes, probably this good target, which is a backup buyers area also, and this is also where is it? And where is my writing? Here, max target from yesterday. See this area 70 to 144, right? So that could be the good target, which is this area, right? So but anyway, so if I was trading this thing, right, due to PMI news, I want to give few minutes, like at least 5-10 minutes, right, for a price to grow, because during the news time it always happens, price goes down and reverse back up and then goes down, right? So I wanted to give some time here, right? So then we have to watch. Then what happened? Price went down, went up, try to take out this 140 through again, but then failed, right? So here you can short when it failed, right? But then you have a Goldbach's law as an issue also here, right? So you let it go basically. You don't short here. However, ES, right? So ES was right at here, right? So since it was 39.20 area, you can't do anything here. So no short in ES either, right? Then you just watch. Then what happened? Price went down and again boom, straight up. See, at this point it was like, what the hell is going on, right? So and then this thing poke below Goldbach's law and then immediately pop back up, right? So at that time when it went higher 143 and then again went above 143 up, right? So at this time it's like do or die situation for both parties. Either buyers are going to take this out or sellers are going to defend here. Why? Because this was the balance made, right? Our box method, correct? So and this was a confluence area. This 161 is a very good area. Why? Because now you can look at it here. See, overnight price was rotated around it here, right? This overall this price moved up from 161 actually, right? Then what happened? Then price tested here, bounce, tested here, bounce, right? Even here also it tried to bounce and right of the open, and then it came down, but then again price went through it here, again it held it and then bounced, right? So this 161 people were interested in buying there, right? So now finally it took off and now price is doing lower low, right? Here also, right? So couple of lower lows, looks like it was to trend down, right? So and then here what was the 94, so the ES was 1045, 1018, so ES was right here, so because of ES 20 this thing bounced, right? That is what I assume, but it should not have bounced from here, because 20 already tried here, right? But this was a bold area, that's why it bounced, right? But then this area was most likely scenario in this case, it should have come down, right? So it tried to go down even, but then it bounced from middle of nowhere. Same thing here, right? It bounced from middle of nowhere. There was no level here, remember? So it's a poor low, to me it's a poor low, right? That means it will get retested, chances are there, because internals were still holding lower, okay, here. And then price just suddenly took off, right? So the moment it took off suddenly, right, from the poor low, chances are somebody will short on the way up. The question is where, right? So you have to really watch the price, you have to wait for a weakness, right? So because of this up move, because here you can say, what, it's a failed breakdown of Goldbach's law, right? So you can't just short it at here at 130, this level, right? Because it was right above it. So you have to wait and see whether price gets a reaction, or rejection. So here there is no rejection, slight rejection, but at one point it went above, right? So we can't ignore this fact. Then price again went higher at 143, right? Here also there is no rejection. Then again here went higher. Now this is the area 161 back up. So at this point it's do or die, because 161 so many times buyer tried it here, right? So either they're gonna liquidate their position, whoever stuck here at 161 buying, right? Or fresh set of sellers will come, right? So here you got a rejection. See this rejection? That's where now you realize, okay, fine, I can try this short now here. But the question is, since it was about dream number, right? It can bounce from dream numbers. See, at the same time ES was testing this VWAP, mid, all this area, and then 31, 33 again, right? So at that time it was what, 1030. So 1030 was right around here, right? It was a first time momentum poke above zero line, right? First time. After looking at this momentum down, somebody is going to short here, at least back to this area somewhere, or somewhere here, right? And then it will balance and go higher if it wants to go higher, but at least that much room you have to trade, right? But NQ, because of the dream number here, you have to wait for price to clear out dream number, right? So that means if I was trading this thing, I'm observing this way, right? I'm explaining how I'm going to observe these things. So I'm not going to short here, but I'm going to wait, Now ideally I would short at the first time onwards, right? Always first test, right, of the level. But since it was traded multiple times, right, I want to wait for a confirmation now. I cannot use the first time short, right? So here it went below dream numbers, right? And then I was looking for short and I got lucky, which is here, right? So here you can short, right? So I'm just explaining, right, that if I'm trading this thing, watching this thing, this is how I would trade. So now I can short at dream number and target this poor low, and then here I would take profit. Or I would wait for this area since it was so close by, right? I would also scale here something a little bit, and I would take a profit here. And then I will call it a day off, right there. Man, right here. And then ES, most likely scenario is this, but again damn thing halfway here and then bounce, right? So it was around 1105, right? So 1105 was NQ was way into this area, which was also max target, right? This was also max target, correct, target 2 and backup buyers area, but ES did not get there, right? However, NQ got there, correct? So now you have to take a profit here, and then you have to wait, because this is the max target from yesterday, right? If it is already achieved, price is not going to go further down. And then considering ES is close to these two bold areas, right, which was a max target for buyers from yesterday, it may not go down that much. And in the morning there was a lot of buyers, from this 161. So, and it was a choppy price action, right? So now you have to just wait and watch. You can't do further shorts here because trend down day was not expected today. So then you watch, right? So then you're watching it. Price was doing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right? During this time, since it was a poor lows, it got retested here again, right? But this time also it held it. So now some legit buy, this low is not a poor low anymore because it's holding, right? And NQ made a new low here while ES did not made a new low, right? So because of ES, NQ couldn't go lower now, and it was close to this level too, right? So anyway, it bounced from here again, right? So now you can't trade this price action, but at least some buyers are defending here, right? What if it breaks out above this area? Then it is an intraday balance breakout. After this much fighting, price is now going to go higher, right? But then you have this VWAP also as an issue, right? Because yesterday entire day damn VWAP held it. Today also, this test of VWAP, right? So there were some VWAP sellers there today, So you can't really, even though if it breaks out, you can't really go long until it takes out this VWAP area and pull back. Then you can go long, So here, see, again, this seller says, as I said, right, already, without looking at it, that this guy's defense, right? So here you can take a short, but your target should be only this top. That's it. And you can see it. Somebody even tried to buy it here. See that mini candle? So here, short here, and you can take a profit here. That you can trade, little trade here, right? ES really you can't do anything here, right? Because by the time ES was already above VWAP, right? So now for ES, you look for VWAP based long, top of this breakout area, So actually this was a poor highs. Actually balance was this. This was a balance, right? So here you can take you can wait when price came down here, right, after breakout balance, and then it is holding here, right, you can either go long here, but it comes with the risk though, right, because of NQ, because NQ was already below VWAP here, right. So you have to watch here, right. So if I was trading these things, right, I would watch these things here, and if I see a bounce, right, and then price trying to take out this, I would go aggressively long at that point, because at that point most likely price is going to take out this high and go at least towards this area. That means NQ will go all the way up to this area, or probably it will try to fill this area later on, so but we need to see that much buying going on, you have to see that much buy, right. So we are here, right, so around 2 o'clock, correct. So 2 o'clock is this 2 o'clock, right. By the time you can actually draw a trend line, see that. So price was trending, AD was trending higher, that is what I said. So when I came back, so I came back at right at 220 215, right, so around here, and then I started immediately, I saw this in my mind, that hey, there is a balance breakout, VWAP held, price came down, and it held this 70 cyan line. At the same time I was watching ES, and I saw this thing, holding it here, immediately when I came down. When I came, I was here, I started watching it from here. Immediately I saw this breakout, pullback, all this thing, right. At that point I was thinking, man, now really whatever I thought in the morning, right, remember in the morning, early morning, when price around 940, that I do not trust the sellers today, right. Immediately I had that feeling popped up that, you know what, now since they were able to break out, buyers, right, I don't think so sellers will now take it down further unless they take out this area. Then it confirms, that hey, their intention is to go towards this area, because that was pending stuff since pre-market, and then I saw this breakout above morning high, right, and then at the same time NQ also broke out, right. So NQ, I traded NQ at that time, I took a breakout actually aggressively about this, remember, at that time chances are it will not hold 161, and actually buying will come from 161. So here, see that 161 buying, and the target was this 3 areas, that was my target. So I held it, pretty much all the way up to here. When I sit through this chop, I had a 50 contracts actually, so I sit through the chop. I traded 4 accounts today, and I already put that information in Discord, right. So I traded 4 accounts between 227 to I think 3 o'clock, or actually later, up to here somewhere. So I think 30 minutes of trading, and I had all 4 account positive. So you have to realize one thing here, so yes, pre-market notes I said focus more on shorts, right, so which you got it. But then when price is testing key areas, right, and it's not going down despite this down internals, you have to assume reversal, that there is a possibility it may reverse, but then you have to just assume at that point, right, and you have to stop trading. And then if you see this kind of balance breakout, right, that's where it's confirming. Then you wait for a pullback, either you take a pullback or breakout again, so that's how you trade. And at that point all the sellers who sold it, they all got trapped basically, and then now price is going to fuel higher. And when you start seeing all this thing, all these levels holding, right, see this breakout happened here, right, and then price went higher at this area, right. So if you took a long here, you take a profit here, for this long. Then if you took this breakout, you take a profit here. Then you can also short here also, but now the question is, you do not want to short here in day trading time frame, because now you see this AD is clearly trending higher, see entire morning pretty much is trended higher, right, and then now we had a final breakout and price is trading above entire day's balance. See, now you can consider this entire thing as one balance, and now price is broke out above it, right? You do not want to fade here, yes, it's a good level and it will react, but how far it will go down, that is the questionable thing, right? But here it reacted all the way back to this breakout point, right? And so it held it here, correct? That's where you go long here, right here at the first test you can go long actually, because now you have a power of this much balancing activity with these buyers against these sellers, and AD is trending, right? And NQ is already going higher and higher and higher, right? And now look at the beauty of this damn thing. NQ pull back right at 161. See, when ES was pulling back here, see, that's why you go long in both, right? So this was the fourth account trade, so I took the trade here for my fourth account here, first time today. It was a fresh account, and then I took this trade, right? So, and then price went higher, right? Pull back again to this area, which is around 1535, right? Which is around here, right? But look at AD. See, it was still going higher. See, this low and this low. See, it's a higher low, right? Here also same thing, correct? So, and it was anyway. So you can even go long here also. It was 336, right? Where it was NQ was there. 336. See, NQ was actually diverging. It was holding this dream number, right? So, and since this area was not tested, right? So actually after this there is no trade, to be honest, right? Because price already tested this area here. See that? So after 315, right? There is no trade. So actually this was not the trade to take. This and this, right? But and that after that I'll go took it off basically. They covered it the rest of the journey, right? So now tomorrow, so by looking at this buying activity today, now we also expected this kind of buying activity, right? Actually not, but we were not supposed to go long. We need to see the proof, right? So the proof happened because of this. I gave you already levels, right? 3897, which is this, 3920, Russell 1800, and NQ 12,050 to 990, and you can see it's 12,050, which is this area, right? So I said, somebody asked a question today in Discord that, hey, is it a time to buy? I said, not right now, unless they all come to these specific levels, all three indexes, and they came, right? And they held it, and then we had a breakout, right? Now it's a time to buy intraday for day trading, not for the stocks, not yet. So, and that's all it is, but yeah, if you're playing options and all these things, yes, you can do call options, intraday call options, right? And then you can liquidate end of the day because of NFP tomorrow, right? So now tomorrow NFP area, this is key. This area is a key area, and ES, this area pretty much, which is, so if buyers are really there, right, they have to hold it above this area during NFP, before NFP, whatever, they have to hold above these areas, and NQ has to hold above this area. Break below, it's gonna tank, it's going to go down again, and that be all for today. There is no inbox wave today because I'm running out of time. I have to work on my patio. I already spent too much time here, so I'll do it tomorrow, inbox wave. That be all.